Hello again, me back, and we've had another double whammy of the Sensorites this evening because, in all honesty, it's been so good, and so we finished it now, and that's top banana. Guys, here, please move your tail. Now, I could bang on about the Sensorites, and presumably I'm going to. I've got a strange mark that's appearing down here. Let's see if I can get my finger. No, it's gone. But I'm going to have a little rant first, and the rant is this: as always, when we finish watching a Doctor Who story, I look at my various resources and do a bit of reading and just catch up on other people's opinions. And it has shocked and stunned me to find that in the last big Doctor Who poll of what the best stories are, whatever else, um, the Sensorites only came in at 183rd best story out of 200, as there were 200 stories at the time. 183. That's insane. That's absolutely bonkers. Because the Sensorites is a fantastic story. Yes, there are some flaws. Maitland in the first few episodes was a bit crap, but he disappears after a while. The resolution at the end, with the city administrator being collared for all the bad internal corruption that's been going on, doesn't make much sense, but we can live with that. And there's some odd bits of sense-writing nonsense and some odd, typically 1960s television, or at least Doctor Who 1960s television cock-ups, move this tail, that have to be borne into account. But nonetheless, The Sensorites is a fantastic story. I boldly proclaim that if there was a better story than the Aztecs in the Hartnell era, I'd be surprised. This could well be it. Seriously, this could well be it. It is proper grown-up sci-fi, but packaged and presented in a way that is completely palatable to our tea time audience. It's got a fantastic plot that never seems to drag or lag. It develops in the way that we perceive the characters in it, most typically the Sensorites. Would you please get off, guy? And in all honesty, I'm really sold on this story. Our last two episodes take the story off into its ultimate location, which is going to be, which has been working out why the poisoning's happening, and it's all tied back in with the ship that's been mentioned a couple of times with some previous humans that have come, and we all thought they were dead, but they're not dead. They're hiding in the sewers. They've gone all Robinson Crusoe, gone all a bit bonkers. It's slightly farcical when we actually meet them because they've all got big beards and are all a bit mental. But for a nice 60s gently placed Doctor Who story, it has everything you need. Even Susan in this story gets to do something good. Yes, it's a little demoralising how whenever she seems to be striking a blow for independence of the 16-year-olds in the audience, the Doctor just slaps her down. Not literally, of course, but it does just seem to undermine all of newfound independence and liberation. But okay, we'll go with that. Susan's a problem character anyway, and we'll just accept it. The fact that we've got an alien race who are not only are they shown to be not the bad guys that we thought they were to begin with, but rather more they're a multifaceted race, and that has developed all the way through, is an absolute joy to behold. So quite why Doctor Who fans haven't gotten on to the fact that the Sensorites is absolutely marvellous. I think the DVD was out at the time the poll was taken. If it wasn't, then I would hope to see Sensorites rocketing up in the rankings whenever the next one's done, which will hopefully be soon, because I think the Sensorites deserves recognition. It's a fine story. Hartnell has nailed his interpretation of the Doctor. Barbara disappears for 2 episodes, and that does allow Hartnell to shine through a bit more. Whereas at the end of the Aztecs, you would say, well, Barbara's about to nip off. We'd think, oh no, she's about the best thing we've got going. It really shows Hartnell a good light. His compassion for his companions is such a nice thing to see after the bickering and arguing that we've had. And yes, there's a little bit of a re-emergence at the end with a daft little cliffhanger that's stuck on to explain, presumably, we want to get to the Reign of Terror next time around. We get more mythology as well, so let's think about this as we're supposed to be doing. I know that I'm breaking all the rules all the way. Susan talks about her home planet with skies of burnt orange and leaves on the trees that are silver, which is a line that Doctor Who fans have taken to their hearts, and gets repeated in Gridlock many, many years in the future. We get more of a sense of the Doctor being an outsider, an other. He's always been within the context of the stories thus far, but as we've got to know him more as a character, as we've come to like him more as a character, it's nice to see that the David Whittaker, we're going to presume here, is canny enough to just throw in these things about we still, still an unknown quantity, and that's a really nice, clever thing to do. Let's be perfectly frank. Aside from the TARDIS, the Doctor is the thing that makes Doctor Who work. It sounds an obvious statement, but it's true. Aside from the TARDIS' ability to take things from one place to another, it's that character that drags us in. It's that character. I remember vividly my friend Paul. I'm going to bracket in my friend John, who wasn't there at the time and wasn't going to be there for a good few years. But these are my good Doctor Who mates from old, and their names have come up in conversation on times day because John's getting married. It's still irrelevant. I don't know if John's watching these things. But I remember a conversation I had with Paul when I was but wee high to a Gaia, so only this tall, and sorry, love, and explain about regeneration and me being captivated by this concept. Now, regeneration's a long way off, a long, long way off, but it's that sense of mystery about the character of the Doctor, and it's here now. It's here. There's a really lovely moment at the start of episode 5, the resolution of the cliffhanger, where obviously I'm retconning. I hate that word. Wildly here, but the Doctor is confronted by a monster. The monster is never particularly explained, but we'll go with it anyway. The look on his face, now Hartnell doesn't know he's doing this, I'm making all this up, so excuse me now, is both fearful, curious, he looks slightly out of his depth, and for a brief moment, buying into the fiction of Doctor Who, I could see this young but old, or old but young man getting himself in a situation that he hasn't been in as many times as Tom Baker will have been in, as many times as Sylvester McCoy, certainly as many times as Matt Smith has been in. This is still newish territory to him, and we do get an indication number of times through this episode that the Doctor has travelled prior to our meeting him, prior to his meeting Ian and Barbara. And yet, there's something in this story that's a watershed. I talked about in episode 4 how I'm not the only one who's talked about it. It's not. I probably would have missed it. How we see the Doctor's ethical curiosity, good side, whatever it is, getting him to do something that up until this point we've not seen him do, which is just going off to do something for a reason other than to get back to the TARDIS, which primarily has been wise and everything so far, or look after Susan. But there's a sense of him, his development. I saw on the copy of Doctor Who magazine that I've been rereading some of the old comic strips because it's the 50th anniversary year now. And there was a nod to the fact that the new Doctor Who comic strip story, which has Ian and Barbara in, sorry if that's a spoiler, will hark back to some of the comic strips that have been going on for the last 18 months. And I'd missed them, so I went back and read some of them. Where am I going with this? I must be going somewhere clever with it. I'll have to rewind and find out what it is. But I've been reading these comic strips. They've been very, very good. I've been enjoying them a lot. Just give me a moment to think back what I was going with this. I can't remember. I'll rewind. I've been really enjoying reading them anyway. But my point is, I think, my overall point is, I'm going to go back and just say the Sensorites is remarkable. And it is better than the Aztecs. Can't pretend anymore, can I? It is better than the Aztecs. It has surprised me. That's wonderful. It's great. Season 1 of Doctor Who is A's. It was Paul and John I was talking about, wasn't it? Oh, well, bollocks to it. Who cares? Let me just say that I've really enjoyed the Sensorites. And Libby really enjoyed it. Let's be honest. Libby's a Doctor Who fan by association and increasingly off her own bat, let's be fair. And this is a story that she's actively wanted to watch, and I think that says a lot about it. So it's been great. Sorry, this has been a bit of a gibber. I'm in my pyjamas again, you may have noticed, dressing again this time. Snazzy cardigan, don't know why. Anyway, Reign of Terror next. bring it on. The reason that this hasn't been going on for goodness knows how long. And if I remember why I was talking about Doctor Who comic strips, one of my train of thought was, I'll talk about it some other time. Oh, bring it on. Loving it, loving it, loving it. See you later.